Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But it's-
Meeting back recess. Okay. We'll start with
Seems to
Pledge
be
of
a lot
Allegiance.
of activity in those.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda, we have the review of minutes and claims from the
Yeah.
Vigo County Auditor.
I'm not finding it.
Okay.
Very tardy.
Bramble, you're late.
Jimmy, you're fired.
Please note for the record that Auditor Bramble was 15 seconds late.
Jim Meyer, we could have.
We've got,
Which way are you?
Minutes for May 11th for approval.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
may
we
have
got
sent them, but I just can't find them.
They're good. I have them.
On your email?
You want to see them?
Yeah. When did it?
Tuesday last week. Thursday.
Yeah, it's just not pulling up on my computer. Maybe IT deactivated my account. Is there something I need to know? Yeah, go. Yeah, I read them by paper. Another excellent job on our minutes, Karen, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Bye. Aye.
Then we have claims for May 8th through 14th in the amount of $3,700,955.18 and payroll of $1,042,528.02 for a total of $4,743,483.20.
Okay. Everything looks in order. Oh, gosh. Okay. Special Olympics, huh?
I'll make a motion to approve whenever you guys are done.
Oh, I'm done, so I'll second it.
Yep. All by aye?
Aye.
Aye? Okay.
Next item on the agenda, we have a body cam presentation from Sheriff Lassing.
Welcome, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I gave all three of you copies of two different proposals I received. One's from Utility, which does the body worn cameras, which the City of Terre Haute Police Department is using, and also from Axon, which they make tasers and they also do body cams. After looking at both of those, the price is similar for a 5-year contract. It's $577,484 for the Axon. And it's $552,449 for the utility body worn cameras. Some things I don't like about the Axon is if you saw the shooting in Georgia where the guy took the officer's taser, his body cam in the struggle came off. And I know they've worked on different things to attach them to uniform, but they're still, we have some we're testing and evaluating now, but they still can come off. The good thing about the body worn camera, it's sewn in your uniform, so it's, unless your shirt gets ripped off, it's going to be there. They won't get jarred, it'll still be facing forward, and that's what, again, the City of Terre Haute has. Some other points about utility that I like, which is why I prefer that camera system. It's got an officer down alert, so if you're, normally you're vertical, if you're horizontal for a certain amount of time, it'll send an alert for other officers. So it's an officer safety feature that I really am in favor of. It's also got no docking station, so at the end of the shift, you don't have to take the camera off and put it in a docking station to upload video. It's automatic. It goes in the cloud as it streams. The Axon, you have to take it out at the end of your shift and have it go up to be uploaded. The utility system is also CAD activated, so if the officer gets a call, it automatically comes on. If the officer gets in a foot pursuit, it automatically comes on. If there's a holster sensor, so if you take your weapon out of your holster, it automatically goes on. Now, one of the features that Axon doesn't compare with is sometimes you have to turn it on manually. And the last thing I think you're trying to figure out when you're responding to an emergency is to hit a button twice to make sure your body cam's on. This makes it simple where it's always going to be on when needed. Now, I know it's not foolproof. There's always going to be something, but I think by far it activates without having to actually turn it on, where the Axon, that's just the limitation I see there. And that's why I would propose that to go with. Obviously, I need to go to the council for funding, but I do need to get the council approval since it's a 5-year contract. Now, I did receive information on the American Rescue Plan Act, and Vigo County is getting $20.7 million in those funds. It has to be used by 2024, and it is allowable to use that funding to purchase body cams. Again, that's not your call, it's the council's, but just to make you aware of that. And I'll answer any questions you may have on the proposal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, is it?
That is our call.
I'm sorry, okay.
As we're trying to figure out.
Okay.
Yeah. So, cellular
Mhm.
is how these are,
Yes, it's like a little cell phone, if you will, that would go in your pouch. And in the car, there's a router, Wi-Fi that will pick that up. So if you're in within, I have to get the actual distance, but it picks that up through there, so that's how it's activated.
so last night, I was doing a commissioner thing with a person in the middle of nowhere. And I will share with you, it was an uncomfortable interaction. I had no cell service. And I'm with AT&T, which cell service, I'm aware of. If I'm up in Nevins, I'm not going to have anything.
Right.
But this was an area that I would anticipate cell service, and I didn't have it, which increased my anxiety in the situation a little more.
Sure.
Are we going to be in a similar situation with this, where there's plenty of areas within the county where we have no service?
Right. Now, we have Verizon MiFi that the coverage is really pretty good. We were looking at T-Mobile coverage, trying to compare those.
Okay.
And it's not close to Verizon. That's an issue I think that can be overcome with our Verizon MiFis, where I'm not sure what product or what carrier they use for this. But since we already pay for Verizon now, I don't see us losing that and
But
keeping
that
with
would be
that
a
Verizon.
hotspot that so I saw in there the camera can do Wi-Fi and cellular. So the camera has the ability to hotspot versus cellular.
If you're out of that hotspot area, then it can go to cellular.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, I just think as we get closer, we just need to make sure that works, because but we know something's gonna happen.
Right.
It's inevitable.
Right. And that's, I guess, the downfall of being in the county, other than the city, is you have less coverage as you get to some of the areas like you mentioned.
Well, we talked about this in our 911 advisory board meeting last week, and there is an advantage to the same system that the city's using.
Correct. I mean, and this also, in a critical incident, it tracks each person, it tracks the car. So if we lose contact with somebody, it shows where they are. If he's chasing somebody in the woods, we see where they are. So you can look at that, and you can identify everybody that's in that grid, which is really a good tool if you have interoperability. And especially with city being there, we respond with each other on call all the time. So we could work being on the same system. If we had a different system, obviously that wouldn't connect.
In an office, if an officer leaves their car, we know that their cars, I guess we've got to be careful. We can't tell all of our secrets, but we know that we know where the cars are.
Correct.
If an officer does a pursuit into the woods, we be able to track them.
With the utility, yes.
Okay, because we can do it now with the radios too.
Right.
All right. Then monthly service, all that's included in that quote.
Yes. And that's a 5-year quote, and I think I had a question for you earlier when I mentioned it before, and obviously we don't know. I would say it's going to be at least that much after the end of 5 years. It possibly could go higher with.
Well, the technology will have changed
Yeah.
by then. We'll be looking at something completely
Right.
different. But the key things are is that we need to look at the possibility of using the ARP funds, give the sheriff our blessing on the contract, and then advocate for the council to be on board too. Does that sound right to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, do you want us to, do you want to do a motion, or should we just all be in agreement that we're good with the contract, or?
I'd say we could probably do, would it be a proclamation that we're in support of the sheriff's
Yeah.
pursuit to get the cams?
Whatever.
Does that sound right, Auditor? We're just on the records that we acknowledge that we're in support, yeah?
Okay.
Sure.
Sheriff, you've answered a lot of questions that I would have had in reference to this, and obviously Commissioner Kearns developed the situation out quite a bit with the 911 group. Obviously, the city has gone with this. One of the peripheral things that has been pointed out to us is the extreme amount of capture of additional data. And so one of the things that we are looking at is how to manage that data. This body cam is pretty straightforward amount, what have you, your review of the different things. But it's also putting a stress on other agencies within the county to be able to record this data, use this data, basically the court system. So this is not, in this commissioner's opinion, nearly the only cost. And we all know that this is obviously going to be implemented, and it's a great thing. But there are additional costs I think that we have to be aware of that go along with this to service it correctly, I guess. So going ahead with that, but we're working on it.
Okay, thank you.
We may not have COVID funds next year to have 5 extra people in the public defender's office to review film all the time, or the prosecutor's office. So.
You know, kind of another thought, Mike, is that when we're going through insurance renewals right now, and I keep looking at Tammy because it's reminding me that one of the things that came up is that there's going to be an expectation that we do have body cams in place by our carriers just to help mitigate our risk. So while there is going to be a large capital outlay on this, it could help, and I say this anecdotally, but based off conversations we've had, it could help with our insurance premiums and claims. We don't get sued enough, do we, Sheriff?
I get sued funny.
Every day.
What's,
So,
what are the costs on those proposals
For,
for the body cams? What are the,
you could have my copy, Jim.
yeah, 577 for the Axon and 552 for the utility. Yes. The ones that are on the road, like admin wouldn't have it, but that's also has, all the vehicles that are on the road have them, plus we have some spare cars in case a deputy's car is down. You can get a spare car and still have that coverage. And we've got 4 extra cameras in case detectives go out on a search warrant or something, they can put those on and still be covered.
Well, I think we officially support you, your deputies, and we're good with it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
We officially support Sheriff Blassie and his deputies, and we're good with it.
Here.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to add while you're up there? Are you sure? No?
Next item that we have on the agenda is the 2021 surplus inventory from the Highway Department.
Good morning.
Morning, Larry.
This is all of our old equipment that the highway department has at this time. There are 33 items on this list that I shared with you. These are all equipment that we no longer use, that we would like to get rid of and declare surplus. So I think what we have to do is you as commissioners would have to declare it a surplus. At that time, we could advertise this as surplus inventory, take bids on it, and then try to get rid of it and capture those funds to be able to use towards new equipment. So, all the equipment ranges from, crew trucks to tandems, and some equipment from an old backhoe to old grader that we have that no longer runs. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to, I shared with you a copy there, so.
What do we have, 26, 28 pieces of equipment here?
33 on there.
33,
Yep.
okay. Okay. Well, I'd make motion to declare it surplus.
Second.
All those by aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you.
We have an off-agenda item today relating to the financing of a tractor that needs to be acknowledged by the commissioners to proceed forward. I think Mr. Robbins can present on that also.
Correct. So staying on the equipment line here, what we're looking at is we have been in discussions about purchasing 4 new Kubota tractors for mowing. I know the commissioners and I have been talking about this. We talked to the council about this. We're looking to finance the purchase of those tractors, and the bank is requiring that we have that authorization actually in a board, as for you have your approval on that, just for paperwork purposes. So that is the only item I think that we need today. These are 4 Kubotas that are in now. They were $46,635.62 apiece, for a total of $186,542.48.
And for clarification, Larry, this is for the tractors only. We will be paying for the boom
Correct.
mower additions
Yep.
separately without
Yep.
financing.
Yep, the upfitting, the mowers themselves, we are purchasing outright through the budget, but to lessen that burden on that budget this year so we can do some other things with that equipment line, we are financing the tractors themselves.
This purchase was initiated, I think, if I recall right, August of 2020.
Correct.
So I'll make a motion to move forward with the acknowledgement so you can procure the financing.
Yeah. Second, for the amount of $186,542.48.
Yeah, they've discussed this several times on which bank to go to and what have you, so
Correct.
should I get the approval to go ahead with it? All those by aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything you want to add, Larry?
What's the date on putting them on the road?
They are getting upfitted now. So they were shipped up to the upfitter, W.A. Jones, last week. They were telling me 4 to 5 days a tractor, so they had 2 of them already, so I'm hoping sometime next week we could get 2, and then the following week get the other 2. I know grass is growing, we need to start mowing, so we've already started mowing with the,
Sounds like a country song.
Good, man. God,
Yeah, Trace Atkins.
grass.
Larry Robbins, everybody.
yeah, we've already started mowing with our equipment that we have now, but these will definitely help out, towards getting everything taken care of.
And we're going towards what we're calling now the one pass method, where these guys will be driving along the county roads doing one pass each side, because it's easier and it's the right thing to do.
Yep, and there are some areas that we're not supposed to mow, so there's some wildflower plantings and stuff we need to take care of. There's also, we're gonna be working on getting certified to do some spraying, or like around bridges and guardrails and things like that. That way those things are identified, those things, stay visible to the motoring public, throughout the summer months when, that way they're not hidden behind 3 feet of weeds. So those are some things that we're trying to work on this year and stuff. We're also working on GIS to make sure we have be able to keep track of what roads we've mowed and when we've mowed them. So that's something else that we're trying to work on.
And if a person doesn't want you to mow their wildflower area, they need to call the county highway garage and get that on the list.
Correct. Yep.
Because
And then-
otherwise, we're going to assume they're weeds.
Yep, and what we can do is we can put that on that GIS map as well, and that way when those guys are going out to mow that, and they check that before they go out, they know that there's an area they're not supposed to mow. We'll also try to put out some signs that say do not mow on those, so that just make it kind of make it dummy proof if we can.
These tractors will have enclosed cabs with air conditioning, which I mentioned that because of the many times our guys have been stung by bees
Yep.
when they hit ground bees, and up they come, so. And debris, too, flying debris.
Yep.
So a lot safer for our employees.
And a lot cooler.
A lot cooler. Yeah, they're gonna be fighting
no-
over who gets the mow now, probably.
No more bags of ice in events.
Thanks, Larry.
Yep.
Country star.
Next item on the agenda is the Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund. Essentially, it's a document that needs to be signed where an acknowledgement with receiving the funds, the county will comply with certain laws and regulations. Most of them are things that we already comply with, but just access to records and maintaining them, and a few other federal statutes that we are already in compliance with, just in agreeing that we will maintain compliance with those if we receive the funds.
Okay. We just need to sign it then, is that right?
Yeah, and
Well,
vote
it
on it
has-
as the agreement
yeah.
this time.
I think what you need to do is agree to it and then authorize the president to sign on behalf of the commissioners. That's what I believe they're looking for, one signature on the
Okay
document.
with it?
President Biden or,
Yeah.
oh, you
President
said the
Morris.
president.
The
Okay.
president.
Okay,
I'm talking to today at 1, a conference call.
okay.
That's a lie.
So make a motion to acknowledge and approve, and
I'll second.
All by aye?
Aye.
Okay. We'll get that one out of the way.
This,
I'm sorry.
I was to say, this is an off-agenda item for the next thing, but we received something from the Gordon Flash Company. Voter registration is replacing a copier printer, and they need authorization to do so. It's just a standard lease to replace their current copy printer for voter registration.
Make a motion to approve the agreement.
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye?
Next item on the agenda, any comments from commissioners or other Vigo County representatives?
I already know.
What do you want me to talk about?
Whatever you want to talk about.
11.5 tons of trash picked up in Burnett.
Still didn't beat my 15 tons of New Goshen.
You had 15?
Yeah.
Well, you put 4 in there yourself just to get it over the mark.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
But the competition is real.
And then Riley Township had a successful one Saturday, so. Yeah, I will share something. Awesome community events going on right now. The Jeep Junkies had their event over the weekend. Over 700 registered Jeeps, and I'd say probably 80% of those people were from outside of Vigo County. So brought a lot of people in the county, spent a lot of money, heads in beds. We're seeing concerts coming up.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Larry Robbins will be performing at the mill with his new debut of mowing the lawn
Growing
or
and mowing.
something, but yeah. Mowing lawns, singing songs, Larry Robbins. But no, it's good, so, yeah, that's what I'll share.
I will touch on the mill real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Tim Drake has invested quite a bit of money in the mill. He has grass sod down. They're working on infrastructure things right now, like water and septic and things like that. Stage is up. They hauled in the stage from the Clark County Fair. They're going to lease it for the summer, but it'll go back to Clark County for 2 weeks during their fair, and then it comes back here for the rest of the year. It should be, if Sheriff Blassie and the city of Terre Haute figures out the parking situation on getting out on 63, it's going to be a great deal. But, yeah, it's an awesome thing that's been needed in Vigo County and Terre Haute for a long time, so.
Yeah, thanks, Sheriff. This is a real deal down there. Quite a bit of investment. And it's, yeah, heads in beds, right? Things like that.
It's exciting.
And, but it's a real deal. Go out and support it, spread the word, you know. I don't know whether venues are what everybody's would like to see, but in this group, but somebody that you know will. It's a real deal, guys.
Good talk.
Any other comments from the Vigo County representatives?
Kevin, you always come up here for something.
There you go, bring him in. It's nice to be able to see people smile now, isn't it?
Kevin with the County Assessor's Office. Basically, this is just something to be thinking about going forward, and it's got to do with the mileage. What we do now is county gives 40 cents per mile. One of the reasons I've never asked for a vehicle for my office is because I think economically, it's cheaper for the employee to use their own car for the county. If gas prices do start creeping up like the predictions are, if it gets up in the $4 and $5 range, I don't really know that the 40 cent per mile compensation is going to cover it. So it's just something to think about going forward if gas does what it's being predicted to do. If not, then it's no issue, but just, and I don't know who sets that price. I think we're actually below the national standard, but
We can. When I was working for the state, it was 46 is what I was reimbursed. What are you? Do you know what the,
county's at 40.
well, we also pay for pagers too, but, so that's, we probably need to get up with the times.
I just
let's
know in
work
my
on that.
office, it's not rare for my field people to do 400 and 500 miles a week. So, yeah, they are getting reimbursed, and we do appreciate that, but when you're covering 400 square miles, doing reassessment and sales verifications and
160.
permits, sometimes it adds up. So just something to think about.
Well, we can work on raising the rate then. Because is that, Bramble, you said that we set that, and then does council have to approve that? In the budget?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
During, well, we can research what the state is saying right now, and, but if you need a car, I mean, that, if your budget could cover a vehicle, good luck finding one right now. Well, we cover that. I mean, we could work with you on buying a car. We just, we can't buy you a car, but the expenses will fall under us anyway.
Well,
Yeah, we're a group of wheeling and dealing commissioners.
We have an incredible 1986 Chevy C10 truck that really needs a fancy paint job and some wheels on there, Chris Schweitzer.
And we're not gonna do that.
And you could drive that around. It'll get 4 miles per gallon, so maybe that's a bad idea.
appreciate it, Kevin. That's a good
56
point.
cents.
We need to get Kevin a Toyota Prius with his picture on the side of it.
My,
Anybody else? Diana? Bruce? Bruce? Kara?
okay.
Bill? Terry?
Howard Grinninger, would you like to make some comments today? No?
All righty, we'll move into comments from the public. I have received none to date. I don't know if we have some on social media or anything else.
Okay.
Joey, you have anything to say?
Okay.
We're really struggling to get people to talk.
We need
Why are we
participation.
wanting to drag this on even
Yeah.
more?
Okay.
People got things to do, right?
Yeah. It's good to see your faces, really. No more masks for a while.
It is.
So, all right. Well, what, do we need recess?
Recess till next
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Till Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.